Hey you, welcome to Home to Me, a podcast where approximately every 8 episodes, this therapist has a meltdown. Spoiler alert, this is that week. Thank you guys so much for being with me today on another Thursday. I am having a week this week. I have significantly overcommitted myself. I have so much stuff going on, and I am a mom of a 3-year-old that has decided that this is the era that he is going to really test every single skill I've ever learned as a human and as a therapist. And I just ran out of time this week, and I thought to myself, I need to sit down, and it doesn't matter if it's midnight, I need to get an episode out. And I was going to do it, and I was going to push myself. And then I was like, you know what? No, we're not doing that. Here I am, yes, recording a podcast, but it is not midnight. And I told myself that I was going to try and do a once through recording. It was going to not be too long. I'm not going to tell you the story of what's going on. It's just normal life stuff. But I'm going to tell you my internal process, starting with, I think, how I once again and still often fall into the same patterns that I used to have that I have worked very hard to unlearn. Whenever I start something new that I'm very, very passionate about and I really wanted to succeed, I am inevitably, of course, more anxious than I usually am. And when I'm not anxious, when I am handling life and there are no significant changes, it's very easy for me to stay in this grown-up version of myself that I've worked very hard to find and that I've come home to and that I'm very proud of. It comes naturally. I don't have to work hard at it. And in general, I feel very good. But during a season like this, where I am starting a new podcast, working on a workbook for therapists in training, and trying to use social media in a semi-appropriate way to market myself, because the young people tell me that if I don't have a TikTok, what am I even doing? And so I'm trying to learn a whole bunch of new things. I feel very out of my depth. The last time I had to learn something new was honestly when I became a mom, and I mean, that was a whole thing. But it was when I started to become a therapist. And so during that time, I did a lot of soul searching. A big part of going to therapy grad school is really unpacking a lot about yourself. As much as you are learning skills, theories, techniques, history, culturally appropriate treatment, and human development and sexuality, like as much as you're actually learning subjects that really help you be a really good therapist, you're also learning a lot about yourself at the same time. And I was making a TikTok today because, hey, look at me, I'm on TikTok. And I was talking about my grad school experience because I feel like I learned so many amazing lessons that I'm still so grateful for. And I thought to myself, let me make a TikTok about that. I think it would be good. I try to keep my content on there very authentic. I try not to just like post for the sake of posting, but to actually say something that I feel like I would like to hear or would have liked to hear when I was younger. And so as I was doing it and I was finishing the TikTok, and I listened to it once through because just wanted to make sure that it made sense. It's like 5 parts. And I was like, okay, girl, way to tell people to do what you say and not do what you do. Because as much as I am moving into spaces that scare the crap out of me, or as much as I'm talking about moving into spaces that scared the crap out of me when I was in grad school, and that also led to the most amazing growth moments for me, I am now in the same position, faking that I am okay, faking that I can do it all, pretending I'm not overwhelmed, and trying to cram as much into my life as I possibly can to perform to the standard that I think is expected of me. So here I am once again. I've rewinded my life all the way back to grad school years, and I'm once again trying to do the same thing. So I gave myself a little reality check, and I said to myself, let's lean on that experience that you had in grad school. Let's find right now the things that really terrify you, and let's lean into them. Let's do them. And one of the biggest things right now that terrifies me is that I don't have what it takes to reach the level of success. But it's not success like in terms of a successful big business. It's more success in terms of wanting to be a relevant voice, to join the voices in this field that I look up to so much. One of my biggest fears right now, I'm realizing, and the reason I'm pushing myself so much and I'm trying to keep up and I'm trying to be consistent and I'm trying to stay relevant and I'm trying to do all of these new things that I never really worried about before, is because I want to be as good as them. I want to be a voice that people say, yeah, she has something important to say. I don't want to be just another person that's talking for the sake of talking. I want to actually add value. Okay? Can you hear what's happening in my brain? Lots of inner criticism, lots of assumptions about myself, and lots of standards that I'm just making up in my head that like really mean nothing, and they don't come from anywhere, and they're just my own stuff. And so I thought, okay, that's what I'm the most scared of. And what would truly destroy that image of me that I have all my shit together and that I'm doing a fantastic job and that I'm just like, it's easy peasy to like see 25 clients a week and then have a podcast and then work on a workbook and then keep up with TikTok stuff and then still do my notes on my admin, and I own my own practice, so do all of my administration, and I take insurance, so do all of my insurance administration, and then still be like a good wife, a good friend, a good mother. As I'm saying that, I'm like, oh my gosh, of course you can't keep up. But I think as well what's happening, and I know I'm jumping all over the place, but I think what's also happening right now is that because I'm on TikTok, I'm also watching a lot of TikTok videos. I don't spend hours on TikTok. I'll go make my content, and then I obviously follow people that I really like on there. And I also believe in supporting other therapists and other people whose voices I really enjoy. And so I'll spend some time interacting there, and then I will hop off. So it's not like I'm spending hours doom scrolling on TikTok, but I obviously see a lot of videos. And right now, I think the algorithm and also who I follow, it's a lot of fellow therapists. And I get stuck into these like day in the life videos, and I'm seeing how many clients these therapists are seeing in a day, or they're disclosing their income. And I find myself in this comparison space, and it's very frustrating to me because I used to live in that space. I used to literally be a person who lived inside comparisons. Like that was my whole identity. I was constantly measuring myself up to everybody else and wondering and hoping that everybody else sees me in a specific way. And without even noticing it, I slipped right back in there. And it makes sense. A long time ago, I did a complete Instagram overhaul because that was the only social media I had. That's not true. I had Facebook too, but I didn't. I just use that to keep up with birthdays, really. But Instagram is the only one I actually use, just for my personal use, not for work. And I did an overhaul of my Instagram when I noticed what I was doing. And in America, it's particularly difficult for me. In South Africa, I didn't feel this much, although I haven't lived there in a while. So maybe it's changed now. But in South Africa, I didn't really ever feel that comparison culture. I didn't really compare my house to my friends' houses or my car to my friends' cars. I don't know. It doesn't feel important back home. It doesn't feel, I don't know. But here it's very different. We started late. We immigrated as grown adults in our late 20s, and it cost us a lot of money to get over here, and we came here with rands, the South African currency, and so we're behind. I don't know if you can see me, but in doing like quotes, we're behind, not really, but it was much easier, I noticed, for me to fall back into that comparison space, and I don't like that space. I like the comparison space when it's pushing me forward, when I'm trying to see like, okay, this person is in a position that I really would like to be in. What are they doing? How are they doing it? Let me compare what I'm doing. I like to use it for that purpose. I feel like that's a healthy way to use it. But that's not what I was doing. I was like, what don't I have? How do I need to level up? I'm not good enough. I didn't fit it. So I took my Instagram and I overhauled it. I just like unfollowed a whole bunch of people, followed a whole bunch of other people. And ever since then, it's been really easy for me to keep a really good level of mindfulness around my tendency to compare myself. And it's gotten easier and easier. But again, being exposed now to this new social media, I fell straight back into it. And so I was looking at my caseload and being like, oh my gosh, should I see more clients? Like I'm seeing 20 clients a week, not even, like I'm between 17 and 20 clients a week. And I know for me, that's at capacity for what my life looks like right now, for me to still have balance to see my child and do everything I want to do. That's the balance I need. But I forget that in those moments, I'm like, oh my gosh, these people are seeing 26, 27, 28, 29, 30 clients a week. That's what I need to be doing. Or they're sharing their income and I'm like, oh my gosh, why am I not at that level? Like I need to be doing more stuff. Do I need to stop taking insurance? That's what's happening in my brain. I'm just comparing myself so much. So this is me spiraling, what I'm trying to say today, actually, specifically today at work. I'm listening to myself explain what it was like for me in grad school, and I'm seeing how very much I am in that same space now. And I decided, I know I went on a tangent, I apologize. And I decided that I was going to post today something that terrified me. So I was like, I had half of a podcast recorded that was about something completely different, and that one will come out next week. But I decided that I was going to make a very authentic episode today and say, I don't have everything together. And as I'm saying it, I'm like getting choked up. I'm feeling emotional about it because I think it's like on the one side, such a relief and such a burden off my shoulders to actually share that authentic feeling. And this is what happens, P.S. When you name your feeling accurately, it comes out. You can process it. And so I think I nailed it because I'm obviously processing it. My tears are coming. And on the other hand, I feel like a little bit of shame because I don't like the younger part of me doesn't like to admit when I'm not on top of stuff and when I'm not really amazing at everything that I try and when I don't make it look effortless. I still feel like it's authentic and important for me to be authentic on these things that I'm creating because they are for me and I'm making them and I need to be proud of them, and this is making me feel proud. So the episode this week is going to be not anything that is like maybe even remotely helpful, but it is going to be just maybe, I guess, like just a vulnerable disclosure that I definitely am not a person who always has all my stuff together. I am an exhausted person at the moment. I have very little energy to pour into things that I really enjoy pouring into, like this podcast. And I want to come on and say that out loud because I want it to be okay, because I believe that it's okay. And I tell this to my clients too and to everybody that I meet. Like, I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you holding yourself to such a high standard? Like, you're fantastic. You're amazing. You're enough. And that is, I so strongly believe that for all people. And so I guess today I'm going to just believe it for myself too. And I'm going to say, it's okay that I don't have a 30-minute long podcast today that's very informative and that is, like completely what I would love. Like, it's okay. It's okay for me to be authentic. This is a part of it. And I also want to say that if you're having a hard time right now, I'm really sorry. Life is hard, isn't it? It gets hard. Like, it's really hard. And I think we all have these seasons, but I'm in a season right now where it's like one thing after another, and I feel like I have seasons of calm and then I have seasons where I feel like it's one thing after another. And it's very easy sometimes when we're in that season of one after another that we slip into this why me, or like why is this happening to me? And I can not so much anymore, but I used to really be able to get stuck in that place, like just feel really, really victimized by the world. And I don't mean victimized in like a derogatory way. I mean, like, truly I would feel like I was a victim of the world. And then I want to share, because I feel like I have experienced feeling like that. What really helps me get out of it is to spend a significant amount of time doing gratitude exercises, reflecting on all of the things that I'm so grateful for, reflecting on all of the things that are going well. Because what I feel happens is once one thing goes wrong, and then the next thing, and then the next thing, we get into this confirmation bias place where we only look for evidence to prove what we're thinking. So that means that if you don't know what confirmation bias means, it means that you're looking for evidence to support what you already think, and you're ignoring all of the other evidence. So probably if you're in that space, what's happening is you're only noticing the things that are going wrong because it's justifying, proving the thing that you already think, which is everything's going wrong. And it's like, yep, there's another thing, there's another thing, there's another thing. And you just keep counting them up. But when you're in that place, it's easy to miss a lot of wonderful things that are happening. And so when I'm in this space, and what I'm going to do after this podcast is I'm going to go reflect on every single thing that I am grateful for. And I mean, I can mention, I'm so grateful that I get to work for myself. I'm so grateful that I'm able to do a job that I love. I'm so grateful for my wonderful husband, who was very in his feelings when in the previous podcast I called him my guy. So apologies, baby. I will not do that again. Very grateful for you. I'm so grateful for my mom. She just came to visit and I loved having her here. I'm so grateful for my family and my husband's family. Lately, I've been spending a lot more time talking to my sister-in-law, which we have a great relationship. And I feel like I get busy and then I don't connect with people as much as I want. So that's been wonderful. I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for my child. Oh my goodness, even though I'm like, so grateful for him. So maybe along with me, you can do the same thing right now. You can think about everything that you're grateful for. And sometimes it can be hard to find something. So I like to really dig in there. Like I like to say, I'm grateful that I get to have a hot shower. And I'm grateful that I have friends that text me on my birthday. And I'm grateful that I can go to the grocery store and buy the food that I want when I'm not in the mood to cook. And I'm very grateful that I have a house, and I'm very grateful to be South African, and I'm very grateful. Like I just try to find as many random things as I can find. Even if they're funny, that helps because it makes me laugh. And then I make a long list of them, and then I look at them over and over and over again, and I picture them. I picture those words coming off the page and like soaking into my bones. I don't know if that sounds very weird, but I picture them like coming off the page and like floating around me and then sitting on all different parts of my body and then just like seeping in. Have you guys seen Avatar? In the scene in Avatar where the main bro becomes an actual avatar, like from a person, like his like body is there and then like whatever, and they have these little like light thingies that go, I'm probably explaining this so badly. You know what I'm talking about? They have these little light thingies that go like on his body and like seep in. Is that even what movie that's from? Anyway, you know what I'm saying. That's what I imagine is happening, but with the gratefulness. And I imagine them seeping into my body, going into my muscles, going into my bones, and like fortifying me. I also want to caveat this because I'm the queen of caveats. There is a difference between toxic positivity and practicing gratitude. And I think sometimes people are very worried about being toxically positive and worried that if they practice gratitude, they're going to end up ignoring or losing touch with all the difficult things that happen. And so I'm just here to reassure you that you can do both things. You can notice that life is really tough and you can really feel how it feels to be struggling. Absolutely. And you can also practice gratitude. You don't have to pick one or the other. So this gratitude practice is not to replace those other feelings. It's not to disqualify those feelings or invalidate those difficult, heavy feelings. Not at all. It's just a little resilience boost to help you get through this hard time. So I worry that sometimes it sounds like I'm like saying like, okay, well, don't complain because other people have it worse and look at everything you have. There's no reason to complain. And I feel like a lot of us grow up maybe with toxically positive people in our lives. And so it can be hard to practice gratitude because it can feel the same way. Like someone's telling us like, stop complaining. But from my perspective, that is not at all what I'm encouraging and what I do for myself. I don't pretend now that everything's fine. See, like I have so many blessings, so stop being sad. No, I'm still sad. I'm still stressed out. I'm still burnt out. I'm still having a very hard time reconciling that I'm not able to do as much as I used to be able to do. All of those things are still true for me. And at the same time, I'm practicing gratitude because I need a little boost. Otherwise, I can easily get pulled under, and I don't want that to happen. End of podcast at 21 minutes, and I don't even remember some of the things I said, so I don't know how much I'm going to have to edit. Hopefully not a lot because the whole point was to have a shorter podcast. Okay, have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for being a witness to my experience at the moment. And if you are so inclined, please interact on social media if you want to, or just like in your own brain. Think about if you have days like this. I would love to hear about them. If you need a witness, if you need someone to just like read what's going on in your life, I would love to do that. I would be honored to do that. So feel free to share. And I think the quote I'm going to leave you with today is one of my favorite ones, which is, first make space for it, then you can make sense of it. Okay, what it means is when we feel our feelings, when we're having a hard time, we immediately try to like fit them into places. We immediately try to make sense of these feelings. Why am I feeling like this? Why is this here? Why can't I blah, blah, blah? We start judging it and we start trying to make sense of these feelings. And sometimes that can really delay our ability to feel our feelings. Remember earlier when I said that a part of me feels relieved and a part of me feels vulnerable, and I immediately got tears in my eyes because I was naming the feeling. And in that moment, I was able to do that because I didn't try to block the feeling, or I didn't try to make sense of the feeling or qualify it or do something with it. I just made space for it to be there. It just named it and then made space for it. And so when we're talking about feeling our feelings, I say that a lot to clients as a therapist. And I think a lot of therapists do that. But what it means is making space for the feeling, just letting it sit there, not thinking you have to do anything with it, not thinking you have to explain it or decide if it's right or wrong or decide if it's appropriate or not appropriate or decide whatever, like not judging it in any way, just letting it sit there. As hard as it is, just let it sit there and name it. Give it a name and let it sit there. First, make space for it. Then once you've done that, once you've let the feeling be there, once you've validated it and been kind to it, and this is going to be next week's episode, is how to practice self-compassion and what to do with these feelings when you feel them. But first make space for the feeling. And then you can make sense of it later. But don't try immediately make sense of it. And I just love this quote in general, and I've wanted to share it for a long time. So that's going to be the quote I leave you with. Have a lovely rest of your Thursday. I hope you're having a wonderful week. And I will talk to you again next week. Welcome home.